Hi, and welcome to another episode of the Future Steps Creative Podcast with yours truly, Marlon McPherson. In this episode today, I'll be talking about branding versus marketing. We previously talked about branding in the last episode. If you haven't checked that out, go ahead and see that one, where we figure out whether branding has anything to do with stamping cows with hot rods, or is it something entirely different? I must say before I jump into the content here as well, that everything that I talk about in these episodes are my own opinion and what I understand things to be based on information I've consumed or based on my own experiences running my own online business ventures or working in-house in marketing or as a freelance web designer previously. So go ahead and leave me any comments, any questions you might have in the video version of whichever platform you're watching this on, or you can drop me a line via my website at marlonmcpherson.com and I'll try and answer those questions in future content, or maybe even send you a direct message if I have the opportunity to do so. So a lot of people think about marketing and branding as the exact same thing. I get the question all the time, or I get the confusion all the time when I talk about these two subjects, and people kind of like mix them all together and they think it's one thing. I'm going to talk about whether or not I think they're the same thing, and if not, how they are different and why they're different and how you should approach each thing. So first of all, figuring out your brand is the first step. It's just one thing in the puzzle that you need to put together. Once you've figured out your brand, you do need to let people know about your brand. You need to have some way of bringing attention to what you're doing and the message you have to send out. And that, my friends, is marketing. Marketing is purely bringing attention to your brand. Now, with that being said, they both go hand in hand. If you have a really great brand, one that's well thought out and things are solid and in place for your brand, but you don't tell anyone about it, you have it inside a cellar somewhere locked away that only you or you and a handful of people that stays in that cellar knows about this brand, then you're not going to get any headway in terms of attracting the right customers. You're not going to get traffic coming through, and business is not going to be conducted because you won't convert anyone that doesn't know about your brand. In the same breath, if you do not necessarily put a lot of work into your brand, but you you place your efforts purely on marketing and promoting to bring attention and get traffic, let's say to your website, you want to have a ton of traffic come into your website, but then someone lands on your website and they feel like, okay, I've come here with high expectations, but based on what I'm seeing, based on the experience that I'm now getting, things don't add up and I'm not feeling like I am in the right place, and they'll just bounce. They'll just leave and not transact any business with you, or they'll not convert into a potential customer or do something like sign up if that's what you want them to do. So with that being said, they're both important. They're things that you need to pay extreme attention to and make sure that you're firing on all cylinders at all times. With that, now that I've explained what that is, in my opinion, I'm going to look at a couple of different ways in which you can approach your marketing activities and seeing whether or not one is more effective than the other, and telling you what my favorite way is and basically my reasons behind that. So the two primary ways that you can do marketing is through either paid advertising or content marketing. Now, paid advertising, this is something that traditionally you would do through newspapers, through the TV or radio. You'd purchase slots or radio spots rather, or TV spots. And companies would pay a lot of money for these spots depending on what time of day, what channel, and what programs are on during the times that their advertising is being showed. And this can add up to be quite a lot of money. And only those companies that have a very big budget tend to advertise using those types of media. This inevitably made it difficult for small business owners and smaller scale businesses to actually utilize these channels because they do not necessarily have such a large budget. So they would have been restricted with what they could do for advertising, and they would generally just stick with local newspapers or anything that's local to them. that doesn't necessarily have a much wider reach, such as regional or national or even international. Now, fast forward many years later, we have social media. Social media has been around for a little while now, and it's been really a godsend. It's been really a lifesaver for us small business owners or marketers or anyone that doesn't really have the opportunity to market or advertise on traditional media. We have the opportunity to now even target specific people that we want to do business with and we want our advertisings to be shown to. So it's even more accountable than traditional media. Why is this? Because social media platforms such as Facebook, YouTube, Instagram, all of these, you name them, they have information about lots of things, our habits, what we do online, or age. They know where we are. They know where we travel to. They know the things that we engage with. And as such, it's much easier to easily pick out a profile of people that we want or marketing to be targeted towards. And therefore, we should get more bang for our buck, essentially, when we do spend on social media marketing. On the other hand, it can be a money pit when it comes on to doing paid ads on social media, simply because we don't know what's going to work until we throw some money at it and you test and see what you get better responses on and pump more money into that. And whatever doesn't work, you essentially just lose that money. But in the process, you learn how to carve out the right audience in terms of who to target on social media platforms. And each social media platform is also different. So you're going to have to make sure that you either understand it, spend the time to learn that platform and learn the algorithms and how they work and decide how to approach it, or you get someone who's already an expert on that particular platform and have them help you out. Obviously, you're going to have to pay them a fee and have a budget so you can commit for at least a couple of months or a few months to then see whether or not something's working. Now, my favorite way is content marketing, because with paid advertising, your marketing strategy or your marketing campaigns are only as good as the budget that you have. So as long as you have money to keep paying for these adverts to run and these special campaigns to run, you will, as long as you have that money, you'll be able to continue marketing in that way. However, if you do have a limited budget and you can only do it for so much time, once the money runs out and once you're not campaigning in that way anymore, you essentially do not have any leads coming through from those channels as you would expect. Now, the thing is, if you stop advertising, if you stop paying for these ads, what's going to happen if that's the only thing you rely on? You're not going to have the traffic that you need so that you can then convert. Now, that's why I like content marketing. Content marketing is the other way. This is kind of like the slower way of building up your marketing. And as such, a lot of people shy away from that because they want everything to happen quickly as possible. And therefore, they think that there's some kind of shortcut that they can jump on and just pay to get their ads shown or pay to get up front. But, but the truth of the matter is, you do have to put in the work and slowly build up momentum with content marketing. And what content marketing is simply you putting out helpful information that's packaged up in a way that it's going to appeal to the target audience that you want to attract to your business. So you find out what their pain points are. This is something that you would do at the branding stage because you would have already looked into who these people are, what they're likely to be like and what their expectations are, and what things they're struggling with. So you would have had these profiles built out from that stage anyway. But if you don't, then that's something you need to look at, and you need to start focusing on who you're trying to target and produce content, create content around that. Now, what type of content do you create? This could be blog posts or podcasts or videos, kind of like how I'm producing content now through this podcast. And if you're the right person that this information is aimed at, you would essentially pay attention to what you would essentially pay attention to the information and ultimately want to learn more from that person who is providing you with this valuable information. And they might end up on your website, they might end up contacting you, and that's how you start relationships. You can also build a community through building a mailing list and having a newsletter, for example, where you have someone come through to the content that you have, and you have what's called content upgrades, where they can sign up by putting in their email addresses and their names, and they can get additional information sent to them, and you can continue to provide additional value that will be useful to them. And eventually, when the time comes for them to take action, they may have you top of mind, knowing that you've helped them in the past through free content, and it would be only natural for them to come to you for paid projects and things like that. So this obviously takes some time, and you have to have a plan and have a system to go forward with in terms of how you do content marketing, what type of content to create, and how you approach it. And depending on what type of business you are, what type of brand you are, certain types of content would be probably more suitable than others. And depending on how you want to operate, you might prefer to do one over the other. And there are endless ways to do this. So my favorite is content marketing. Like I said, for obvious reasons, it's free for me to do. The only thing it costs me is the time and money that I put into producing my content. And as a result, I'm building long-term momentum, because if you put out content that's evergreen, meaning that it will always be relevant for a long time, that's always going to be working for you in bringing new leads and continuing to provide value, because the people that come across it, the people that are searching for this information, are able to find it, and therefore have you as top of mind, have you as an expert, or have you as an authority on the subject area, and will come and want to learn more from you or transact with you in some way, shape, or form. Hopefully this has explained the differences between marketing and branding and how they're related. If you've got any questions, like I said, leave me a comment and reach out to me via my website. If you're on the podcast only version, the audio only version of this podcast, please go ahead and check the notes for any links. And also, like I said, reach out to me via my website, via email. Use the contact form on marlonmcpherson.com. If you wish to continue to learn more about online business strategies, creativity, and productivity, and all those things that goes into being a successful entrepreneur and building an online business, please go ahead and subscribe, whether you're on YouTube, you're on iTunes or Apple Podcasts or Stitcher, whichever platform this is being listened to or viewed on at the moment. Just go ahead and subscribe and continue to look out for the updates. And I'll continue to make these episodes as well as tutorial videos on the YouTube channel, which is under Marlon Macpherson as well. So youtube.com/Marlon Macpherson. Thank you for tuning in, and I will catch you in the next episode. Take care.